I built a $20,000 website in one afternoon with one prompt. Before I lose any of the AI haters, listen, I'm a graphic designer and a web designer at heart. I've been in this industry for about 20 years now, building brands for influencers, podcasts, celebrities, you name it. So this is a test. I wanted to see how well this platform could do with me just giving it a prompt. Me using my visual language and having a back and forth with AI to get the prompt I wanted for the project. And let's face it, most designers, and when I say most designers, I'm including myself, when we have a web project, depending on who the client is, depending on what the scope of the work is, it could take weeks, months. Unfortunately, I've had a project take over a year because you're going back and forth. You have revisions. Sometimes the client wants to update photos. You have to wait for that photo shoot to get booked, and you have to wait for the photos to come back from the editor because they want to edit their work. It's just a lot that can get convoluted really fast. In this day and age where everything is fast, everything is quick, everything is speed with high quality, which prior to now was kind of impossible. But imagine how much more efficient you can be if you're using the power of AI to get something done in an afternoon or even just a couple of days when you really want to sit and dive deep into it versus a couple of weeks versus a couple of months. You can have a full brand build out done for a client within 1 week that would normally take 4 to 8 people at a design agency to complete. So with this specific project, I chose to pair up Claude and Lovable. When I first started working with Claude, maybe about 6 to 8 months ago, I gave it a lot of information about who I am. Did a little quiz on myself so Claude could understand who I am, what I do, and really get to know my brand voice and how we can communicate, right? So I'm going to read off a little bit of the conversation that I had with Claude about this project. I said, Claude, what up? I need you to build me a $20,000 senior development and design prompt for a lovable website build for Nicole Sanders, aka This Is Nikki. I'll provide her links here. Put the 2 links in there. I want the site to feature off-white to royal blue gradients. Should have interactive scrolling. There should also be sections of CTAs to join her private community, Lions Behavior. Loading sidebar of her social channels in icon format. I'll attach some images of her and her lion logo to be placed on the site where needed. Once the prompt is finished here, the site should have a general contact and booking form. Here's the key thing that people aren't doing with Claude. I said, don't start building the site yet. First, ask me several qualifying questions before we build out the prompt. I want the site to be modern, futuristic, should have like an Apple or Nike style feel to it. Clean, modern, interactive, not cluttered. Don't settle on the first prompt results. Evaluate it, check for any errors and ways to improve it before delivering a final prompt to me. Claude came back and said, "What's good, Nick? Let me ask you the right questions before we build this beast of a prompt. This is a premium deliverable, so I want to lock in every detail. What is Nicole's primary brand or professional identity? Is she a life and mindset coach, content creator, a speaker, an educator, a brand or a business consultant? What sections or pages does the site need beyond what you mentioned? About section, shop, merch, testimonials, press, media kit, a podcast section? Does it need a blog or articles? Or do we need none of that? Just keep it tight. What should be in the booking form? What should people be able to book Nikki for? One-on-one coaching sessions, speaking engagement, brand collabs, podcast interviews. Of course, I checked off all on those. And we went through a series of questions and I had to go back and forth. Like I said, I had a little conversation with Claude and then I got my final prompt. It says, hey, you're a senior full stack developer, UI UX design director with 15 plus years of experience building premium personal brand websites for thought leaders, coaches, and content creators. Build a complete, fully responsive personal brand website for Nikki Saunders, in parentheses, at This Is Nikki's. Then it went through some sections of brand identity and tone, interaction and animation system, floating social sidebar, page architecture section by section. We have a hero section, we have content, we have 2 call to action side by side. Went with a credibility strip. So I'm assuming here this is where the reviews are. But let's just scroll through the site ourselves and look, right? Now, mind you, this took about 29 to 40 minutes from when I shipped off this full prompt into Lovable and got this draft of a website. We have our top section. I fed it this one picture. I see the gradient moving along with the mouse. I did edit after the first prompt was delivered. I said, hey, can you have the mouse be her actual lion logo and it leave a trail as I'm scrolling on the website? So it was pretty cool that this is what, this is the animation that it came with. Mind you, I have not shown this to Nikki. She doesn't know about it. She's seeing it the same time you guys are. So yeah, I don't even know she's going to like this. But again, this was just a test. I wanted to see if this was going to work and how well it could be. So, without further ado, let's just scroll through the website. So, we got Nikki Saunders with the lion logo, and I like how the lion gets like bigger as I get over this link here. It's AI, content strategy, creator culture, your favorite content strategists, helping creators, personal brands, behind the scenes innovators grow through AI tools, content systems, and strategy that actually works. We got two call to actions right here to join her Lions Behavior community or just watch her content. She works for Eric Thomas and Associates. She's been on Social Media Marketing World, Afrotech, Content Corner Newsletter, Google, OpenAI, ChatGPT. These are all the things that she talks about on her page. I actually didn't give it this information in the beginning. Remember, I gave it her YouTube and I gave it her Instagram, and I said, run through her profile to get an idea of who she is, what she talks about, what her leading content pieces are, and really just to get an understanding of who she is and her entire vibe before it was able to build out the website. The woman behind the strategy, from behind the camera to leading the conversation. Nikki started as the introvert behind the camera and turned content into a career. Ready to build like a lion. So here's another section that highlights her community. It's the YouTube section that we asked for. After the first iteration, I did ask it to just highlight the most recent video and then have three under it. So that's what it did here. I did want it to keep just a normal off-white background on this section, but it looks like it changed it. So, but that's just something that we can prompt back in to get it to fix. Trusted voice intersection of AI and creator culture. Partner with Google, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Meta. This is all from a single prompt, guys. I didn't ask for these sections. I did ask for these call to actions here. View press and media. So just looking at this is all from like one single prompt and just a couple of tweaks. This may have taken me an hour max. And even on the side, it has suggestions. So like for these call to actions, it'll ask you, hey, are you ready to connect these buttons now? We can do it this way. It gives you options based on what you prompted in because it can see what it built and it knows that those things need to be connected and they need to go somewhere. So the fact that it's asking and like thinking next steps for you, that's just a major plus. And I think it's worth every penny. We'll get to the cost a little bit later. Even this section here, what creators are saying, results, not just receipts. What does Nikki always talk about? Showing proof, social proof, receipts, right? This is a section that can easily be filled, especially when you have community and you're building community. Even if you get four or five, you can send out an email to 10,000 people. If 10 people give you a solid review or just a response to the email, like, hey, Nikki, you've helped me so much, that's something that you can just replace here. So you have this section here, and you just go back over to Lovable. You go into your chat bot and you say, hey, I need you to update the testimonial section with these testimonials here. Here's the testimonial, and here's the name right under it. Move on to the next one. So, like, they don't get cluttered up. Like, you really have to be specific when talking to the AI, and then it'll give you the result you're looking for. And then we have our booking section for press and media. Book Nikki for your platform, available for podcast interviews, speaking engagements, brand collabs, media features. And we have a media kit over here. It looked up how many Instagram followers and YouTube subscribers she has, Content Corner, her weekly newsletter. This is outdated, but that's something that we can just easily update and prompt out, right? And then as we scroll down, we get the actual booking form. Let's work together. Fill out the form, and Nikki's team will be in touch within 48 hours. Full name, email, what company you are, what kind of inquiry is this, and let's see what kind of drop downs they put in here. Look, they've got speaking engagement, podcast interview, brand collab, media press, general inquiry, event or platform. What's the date or timeline? Get in touch. Another one. General contact form just to say hello. For all other inquiries, partnerships, or just to say hey, drop a message below. And then we've got Content Corner sign up. This is fire. What? This is all from one prompt, y'all. One single prompt. So you can have a full website built and shipped for $25 a month. That is around average of what it costs for most platforms to have a website. I think Shopify is around $29 a month. If you have a store or a commerce or just a standard website with Wix Studio, it's about $28, $29 to $34 a month if you have the bigger business plan. Square, believe they're the same. It's if you have any kind of website that requires domain and hosting, it fits around this price range. So just imagine if you can get a website done like this within 1 hour. Now, granted, I know what I said, but I can't be the judge to say, oh, yes, this is a $20,000 website. But it does give you a premium feel and build. You guys saw it, right? So just look at the pricing here. Like you get grants, you get 5 credits to build daily, 20 credits for cloud monthly. So, and then the credits roll over. And from the research that I did about Lovable, like each prompt is a credit. So this is why I use Claude, and you can use ChatGPT, you can use Gemini, whatever AI model that you would like to use. Get your prompt like bulletproof ready over there first. Tell it exactly what you're doing. Hey, I'm using Lovable. I need a prompt to build a website. This is who the website is for. Here's their logo. Here's their brand colors and brand kit, style guide, and fonts that they like to use. These are the things that you need to be given to the AI up front, so you're not wasting prompts and credits and usage on reprompting. If you give it all of this up front, you kind of eliminate questions that it needs to ask you, and then you're going back and forth with revisions. That'll save you a lot on using up those monthly credits. All right, y'all, and this wraps it up. I am Nick Rich, 20 years of design experience, but my mind was blown with AI in one afternoon. So look, share this with someone who needs to see it, like and show some love in the comments if this added any value to you. If you want to see more of what I'm developing on this level, design-wise, using AI tools, talking about lifestyle, brand, business, anything in this creator and entrepreneur world, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.